Louisa.
What's good, y'all? Let me know if you could hear me loud and clear. What's good, Navali? Not sure if y'all can hear me. Not sure if y'all can hear me. Yeah, I think we got it good. So we just finna. What's good, Trigger Happy? Yeah, so right now I'm about to open up the floor and just let y'all vibe. Damn, I don't think that's working. It's about to be an open floor. I'm trying to get this screen set up to work. But we about to have an open floor and just talk about things that are on y'all's mind. Damn. I'll pin this. Yeah, so we about to talk about like Africa versus the world, dealing with African identity, African politics, some of the things that are impacting us, impacting African cultures, African people, be it religion, be it our names, our institutions, whether or not Afrocentric education is beneficial for African children, particularly in the West. We can talk about it all. I just wanted to open the floor because I haven't gone live in a while and, I'm feeling good. I'm chilling. And I figure why not? Why not talk to the people? So if anybody wants to come in, feel free to hit the link. But if not, I'll just go over some of my posts, some of my recent community tab posts, and maybe we could use those to try to spark a conversation. I'll go present, share my screen. Yeah, I'm trying to set this up. Okay. That's what it is. Window. Share this window. I'm gonna share this real quick. Actually, I'm gonna have to switch into my other account. All right, y'all. It's a lot popping off, but getting to my community tab post, just some of the recent, feedback. I think this is a pretty popular one. This is a pretty decent one. Dealing with the Imohag people of Northern Africa. Let me make sure I can see my oh no. Damn. I don't want to lose my StreamYard screen. I don't want to lose y'all's comments. But yeah, let me fix this real quick. I'm gonna share it. It's a Chrome tab. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it will let me share it unless I have it open in the same tab. Yeah, I don't think it will. I go new tab. Bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to figure something out. Y'all can see. Yeah, y'all see that tab. And if I go here, I go boom, boom, boom. There it is. And all right, so y'all still see that. Okay. All right, so just wanted to get down into this. Dealing with the Northern Africans. So like what I found interesting about this research, this data that I was looking into is the fact that if you consider sex chromosome analysis, you'll find that the Imohag people, also called the Tuareg people, they have some of the highest rates of EM81. You know, EM81, a Northern African branch, E1B1B, is found among the Tahal Imohag in Libya at a frequency of upwards of 90%. And if you look at H1 is an mtDNA sequence, a mitochondrial maternal lineage that is found the highest in these Imohag or Tuareg in the Faison of Libya at 61%. So when it comes to these Paleolithic lineages of Northern Africans, these Imohag people have that lineage at such a high degree, such a high degree. Now, if we were to scroll down and we look at the linguistic analysis of Bintu Saluma Decore, that basically shows that Metrem and Kimi is related genetically to Mandinka. And I think that's fascinating because there's a lot of people who say that, this link is not probable, it's not possible to be able to establish this. But if you look closely at his analysis, and this is some of the putative links that he established, he was able to find a link between the initial phonemes in Iakub, in Metrem and Kimi, and he was able to, find a recurring aphesis or sound deletion in Mandinka, right? And he gets into the bilabial plosive correspondences, the correspondence in the initial phoneme of U, the initial and medial of J and R, and he gets into the really, really specific technical instances. And what this means is that this genetic filiation between Mandinka, Metrem, and Kimi, or what many people call the ancient Egyptian language, warrants further research. A lot of naysayers would say that that's linguistically impossible, but according to the analysis of ocular lexemes, words that have to do with the eye, as well as some of the systematic correspondences, sound correspondences that Dr. Ducouré was able to observe, in some of the vocabulary items, and you could see that on the top right here of this post, he was able to find a connection between Metrem and Kimi and Mandinka. So to me, that's pretty fascinating. That's pretty intriguing. There's a lot of these different connections, and we shouldn't, the connection between Africa, classical Africa, and modern Africa is not necessarily something that we should scoff at. It's something that is a legitimate field of inquiry, especially in Africana studies. So we move forward. And I'm trying to get trying to fix some real quick. How y'all doing in the chat? I'm gonna get my background music playing. It's too loud right now. I think that was a little bit too loud. If I go make that a little lower. All right. Yeah. The fact that the Emohag have a really strong tie with the Beja is fascinating. You know, and their affinities to Eastern Cushitic groups are also really strong. And I wanted to show y'all some a little bit. For those of you who have had the chance of joining my Patreon, I got a really fascinating post recently on my Patreon. And on my Patreon, I share some research that, doesn't necessarily make it to YouTube. Some of the things that are a little bit more controversial. And it's kind of related to what Now Valley Boys is vibing on right now. See this? Now, we just started a Patreon, so if y'all are interested in supporting, I would definitely appreciate it. So y'all should see, I don't know if y'all see the Patreon yet. There it is. So this is a phylogenetic mapping of African populations, and you can see them color coded. Like you see the Nigero-Kordofanian in the yellow, the Nilo-Saharan in red, so-called Afro-Asiatic in blue, and the Koena or the Koena-san in green. And we obviously know that these are areas of diffusion, not necessarily affirmed genetically related language families. But what I want you to pay attention to is the top. And I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit closer. This is fascinating. This is a phylogenetic mapping of modern populations. I don't know if that zoom is working. No, it's not working. If I go boom, boom. I don't know if y'all can see that, but check out the Dogon right here. The Dogon right here at the top right. You see the Dogon associated with so-called Afro-Asiatic populations, such as the Beta Israelites or the Falashas in Ethiopia and the Beja populations of Northeast Africa, right? And you have other Afro-Asiatic people here in the so-called Cape, colored folks of Southern Africa. So that's interesting. Look at the Dogon, a Western African population clustering with Eastern, specifically Northern Eastern African populations. To me, that's validating some of their orature, speaking about coming from the Happy River Valley, And there's many different archaeological analyses, theological analyses conducted by Sheikh Diop, Abubakar Musa Lam, basically showing that connection between those two populations. So I thought that was pretty lit. And feel free to hit the link if y'all want to vibe. Otherwise, I'll just continue forward. This is another big one here. The fact that haplogroups H and K in Africa are linked to prehistoric back migrations and do not negate the Africanity of the Armana royals. Oh. You see, I was kind of muffled. You said I was kind of muffled on the Dogon part. Okay, so basically what I was going over is the fact that when you look at the Dogon in this phylogenetic chart, this is the chart that I was referring to. It's from this study This study is Genetic Structure and History of Africans and African Americans by Tishkoff et al. And within this study, they do a phylogenetic mapping of African populations. And you can see here African Americans are in between the Hausa, Gabaya, and then the Tutsi, Hutu, Yoruba, Tikar populations. But if you look up here at the top of the chart, and I don't know if y'all can see this very well, but let me see if I could try to see if I could zoom in. I don't know, that doesn't make it better, but yeah. So the Dogon up here in this top right section, they're clustering closer to Beja in northern eastern Africa, and then the Falashas of Ethiopia, they cluster much closer to them than they cluster to these West Africans. So to me, that's speaking to a lot of their orature about coming from the Happy River Valley. Some of the archaeology and theological correspondences compiled by Diop and Musa Lam basically validate this, and the genetics, this phylogenetic mapping is also validating it. So let me know if y'all got that. Y'all good? Yeah. Peace and power, Nyame. So we're gonna move on into the haplogroups H and K. Big up to Asar MK. What's good, my dude? Yeah, we about to get into the H and K, and that is very, very true. That's very, very true, Dorinel. A lot of these West African tribes, if you take a look at the genomics of Western African people, you will find that a good majority of them do not have a history linked to ancient West Africa. A good majority of them have a history linked to the Happy River Valley. Yeah, I know how it is on that CDL grind. I appreciate it. Appreciate you choosing my channel. So, going back to what Doravel said, they're a lot of these West African populations, and we're going to get into haplogroups H and K, but you'll find that the great majority of African populations, West African populations in particular, they replaced populations that were closely related to archaic humans, or populations that are linked, that had intermixed with archaic humans. They had a high percentage, these so-called hunter-gatherer populations. They had a really high percentage of archaic human. And the further you go back in Western Africa, whether you go to the Iwo, Uleru man, or whether you go to some of the Eterian cultures in Paleolithic West Africa, you will find very large portions of archaic human. But Homo sapiens sapiens, modern Homo sapiens sapiens, are more so Saharo-Nilotic. Like if you read the works of Dr. Shamarka Keita, and even some of the works of Dr. Augustine Hole, the Cameroonian archaeologist, you'll hear them use the terminology Saharo-Nilotic. So that's where these Homo sapiens sapiens came from. So I have less than 2% Neanderthal. I don't know what I have. I'm not really sure what I have. I've never taken a DNA test because I've never really had to. But continue on, going to H and K. We can see that the analysis of these Armada mummies, even though they may have K and H, these are linked to back migrations. They're not necessarily the full composition of the population. Autosomally, according to the pop affiliator analysis of Dr. Keita, Gordina et al., you'll see that The Armada mummies are predominantly African, infra-Saharan African to be particular. So, he did the sample of STRs, 8 of 13, which is acceptable by the FBI. It is acceptable to get ethnic affiliation, according to the FBI. But even if you examine some of these ancient North African groups like Tafarat, where you'll see U6, or the early Paleolithic Moroccans in the Maghreb, who they're believed to descend from a back migration 15,000 years ago, they'll have haplogroup K. Even late Moroccans, they'll have haplogroup K1, right? But these are associated with ancient Paleolithic North African populations. So what this would be Africans who left the continent and went back, right? And most of the times they went back prior to introgression by Neanderthals. But when you're getting into, the post 40,000 years ago time period, especially when you're dealing with these back migration populations, you're going to get, more Neanderthal introgression. He's over 80% West African. Yeah, West African. When you say West African, I'm assuming you're meaning, after 4,000 years ago. Because most of these genetic tests, most human genomes change every 2,000 years. There's a rate of evolution, microevolution to be particular. So that's why it's really difficult for these genetic tests to infer beyond that. It gets really speculative. You need a lot of archaeological data to be able to get the truth. So this is another study by Dr. Hassan on Northeast African populations. And what he finds is that the presence of these haplogroups, such as F, J, I, J, and K, are attributed to recent migrations from West Asia, and they're unrelated to the founders of dynastic Kemet. So when you see all of these haplogroups, these Eurasian haplogroups, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's validating the invading pharaonic race theory by Petrie. No. According to Hassan's analysis, the majority of the ancient haplogroups are going to be E, particularly EM78 when you're dealing with Northeast Africa. But among the Remenkimi, the Copts, you find BM60, right? And these would be the direct descendants of these early Nilotic settlers during the dynastic period. So, when you analyze a lot of these studies dealing with these ancient North African populations, you have to be careful that they don't use the one-drop sex chromosome rule to try to diminish the Africanity of the population. Now, you look at here. This is one that's pretty shocking to a lot of people. So Dr. Haber et al.'s analysis finds that C, D, E, and FT, these are major Eurasian haplogroups, likely originated in Africa. Now, there's still a possibility that they originated in Asia as well, but according to this analysis, and it's kind of a small graph that you see that white in the mid left, but in that diagram, and I'm gonna try to get a little closer if I can. Yeah, I think that's the closest it'll let me. You basically see C, D, E, and FT coming from Africa 76 to 73,000 years ago. So he adds compelling evidence, but a lot of times when you're looking at these haplogroups, so like when you look at C, D, E, and FT, and some people say that they're Eurasian, they could have been part of an ancient African migration out of the continent. It could have came back, right? It's a possibility, but you have to be able to find the specific subclades of each. I don't know if I have a thing. And I pinned the link to the top if any of y'all want to come in. Yeah, I'm trying to set something up. But yeah, you go back. Let's keep, and this is a big one. I don't know if y'all remember my show that I did about RV88. And a lot of people try to use say that these are recent Eurasians in the African continent. But when you analyze RV88, RV88, which is the prominent African version of R1b, and you analyze the subclades, particularly RV69, that would be found in dynastic Kemet. That's the majority of the R in Northeast Africa. That is derived from a mid-Holocenic RV1589 that migrated from Central Africa to Northeast Africa. So the R found in Nisut Tutankhamun in the Amenhotep III is a Central African R. Yeah, it's really it's really fascinating, because in most cases these haplogroups leave and they come back, and there's different lineage. That's why it's important to get the specifics. It's important to get the specific subclade when you're doing your analysis. What is the origin of modern day North Africans? Are they really the descendants of this Eurasian back migration? You see, that's a very good question, because if you look at many variants of EM2, the early version of E1B1A, right, that originated in North Africa. And most modern West Africans were in North Africa before migrating down to West Africa. Most West African domesticates, pastoral domesticates, were originally from Northeast Africa before they migrated with the West Africans into contemporary West Africa. So whether or not, North African should consist of those basal clades of E1B1A or EM2, or whether it's more so associated with these Paleolithic back migration haplogroups like H and K and RV88, or EM81, which is considered the Berber marker, or H1 on the mtDNA side, right, is up to debate. But if you were to consider EM81 and H1 as the primary Berber haplogroups, basically you're going back to the Tuareg or the Imoha. But if you're to consider the basal clades of EM2, a lot of West Africans, modern West Africans, would be included within that ancient North African population. That's right. Eventually we all do. I know the Dogon you spoke of earlier, E1A. Yeah, E1A, in my analysis, is West African. Primarily West African. E1A is. But I know it's not as common on the continent. So honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if, other groups had it as well outside of West Africa. That wouldn't be surprising, but from my analysis, Dogon and Fulani, they're gonna have that too. So we can keep on keeping on. Keep on. Keep on. Freestyling and wilding out. Freestyling, going off the top. My brain in my mouth. I was even thinking about freestyling. Going through the information and freestyling off the top. Versing with Kamji verse. Thoughts disperse. Never last, always first. This is Kamji verse. But y'all, we just chilling. We just, chilling and making the most of it. Of this Tuesday, of this war day. Going over my community tab post. Getting it in. I got to be in the mood to really bust it out like that. I'm just chilling right now. But yeah, this post was pretty lit. Like, genetic research conducted by Dr. Elkamo et al. And Dr. Aruna et al. 2 studies reveal an Arabization process in North Africa where a massive influx of Arabic genes entered the region during the 7th century split of Islam. So that's basically breaking down a lot of the propaganda that brothers had, and a lot of people, a lot of these North Africans and Arab centrics, basically talking about the modern Egyptian population is exactly the same as the ancient population. And the people who make this claim, they don't really understand clines and the fact that there's a north to south cline. The more south you go, the more closer that you're getting to the dynastic population, right? The more north you go, the more closer that you're getting to the so-called Middle Eastern population. And modern Egyptians have the least amount of ancient North African ancestry, right? Especially when we're specifically talking about the Maghrebi component. They have the least amount of that ancestry of all North Africans, right? So they're not necessarily, they're more so West Asian than they are North Africans, right? So when you go closer to the south and you see these Remenkimi, these Copts that have BM60, the B haplogroup that's also seen among the Mossi and the Bamileke, those are more approximate to the founders of dynastic Kemet. So that's really, really important. So you see the ancient Remenkimi, they would have looked like this, and the moderns will look like this. Modern Egyptians look like that. Shout out to Netter Neb. This is a huge one. Netter Neb has been going in with the TLA, and he basically found a transliteration from a TLA that basically says that Nubians or Negroes are sun folk from Kemet, the land of blacks. And you see the transliteration here, and he even cited the different examples in the TLA. So for anybody who says that so-called infra-Saharan or what they use sub-Saharan Africans were not, part of ancient Kimi, there's a primary attestation to prove that false. Ouagadougou Empire, you're getting into Augustine Hull, one of the greats, and Dr. Musa Lam in their analysis of the founding of Ouagadougou. And, Hull promotes the idea that you could have some moisture because of the aridation of that region of the Haute Depression. Some of the ancient Tichit people migrated south from moisture areas, but there hasn't necessarily been any archaeological evidence proving that. At best, they may have an extension of the Tichit culture to the middle, Niger River Valley, but contemporaneously, you have about 1,000-year gap. And according to Patrick Munson and Dr. Kevin McDonald, it was so-called Amazigh or Berber populations who were the intermediaries between Tichit and Ouagadougou. So they basically destroyed the terminal Akindir period of Tichit culture, and then from the syncretism of the Berber Amazigh civilization and their civilization is what you lead to the Ouagadougou Empire. Whereas Musa Lam uses archaeology, Egyptology, linguistics, and orature to basically articulate the Aswan origin of the Soninke and the Ouagadougou Empire. And this is corroborated by the majority of contemporary Soninke scholars. They do promote, Soninke or Sonanke being the people of Aswan. Another banger from Augustine Hall dealing with the cattle cultures of ancient Africa. Oh, there's a Sar. I think that's a Sarum Ka. Was good.
You got caught in the web with Kamji and Ned and Neb, Basar bringing it back. We got in the full pack. No,
Yeah, I be feeling like busting it out sometimes because I get bored and
gotta let it go. I meet the honeys in string bean bikinis is top heavy like bot fetty. You're not ready. Rolling with thugs that got the fetty rock ready. Box on the block, nigga. Lock leg turns spaghetti. Talking about that chemistry, we all in it. No.
Those two West African Knights be trying to hop the mic.
Yeah. Shout out to West Africa, East Africa, North and South Africa. We don't divide Africa up on the real channels.
No,
on the
not
real annals.
Not
Keep
at all.
going in, fam. I'm over here about to put the pedal down on this truck. I'm just listening. I'm enjoying the session right now, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate the way that you go in and, in the name of Dr. Holloway, where he said that the Africanisms of the diaspora are not West Africanisms. They're Africanisms that include the entire continent, right? So that's the truth that we need to stand strong on.
Yeah, they ran into the brick wall the other day, and then I had the DNA baby girl. She do the DNA for the Igbo and a lot of West Africa, a lot of African Americans trying to tie us back to our roots back home. She popped on there. We had to kill all they pseudo for about 200 seconds. You know how that go. He's on Chris's channel doing that stuff. Go in, family, because I got to get off. I can't drive and talk with you with your whole phone, but
Yeah, no, I feel it. I've been watching. I watched Smash the other day, and him and Son Netter. And when Son Netter basically spilled the beans, he was saying, "Oh, all of this is because of Jabari." I'm like, what? I'm like, one man made you go from Black African power to Kemet doesn't mean black.
Yeah, I'm like, these guys crazy right now.
I said that's wild as hell, but I'm still trying to push the truth because I had that thing with Mr. the other Asar. Sorry, Imhotep.
Brother Imhotep. Brother Imhotep, man. Brother Imhotep, I need you to work on your metanetric, brother. You fam. I just popped up on this show the other day. You cannot confuse the two Nefertaris ever. And that was so easy. And it's because what you're doing is you're going in that TLA, you're plucking things out of it, sometimes add things to it. Just quit playing. Don't play with it. Just run with the narrative. Run with what's there. Run with your people, man. You're going backwards. I know you was a Hebrew Israelite at one time. We know. But those days are over, my friend. You're here. You talking Chicam and stuff. Let's go. Let me get off of here, though, family. I'm going to see you soon.
For sure. I appreciate you for stopping by.
What's up?
Hotep. Yeah, I'm tripping off the fact that, old dude literally said that Obanga didn't use Coptic when he used it all throughout his book. That's the foundation of his logic is Coptic. It's like that. That's wild to me. Even, Bilolo, Buba Bingi Bilolo, the person that he said he got Chicam from, he literally uses Coptic in his analysis. So it's like that's crazy. It's hella crazy. That to me, that does not make any sense. Shout out to No Diplomacy, my dude Zotar the Magnificent. We going in, we talking about that cattle culture. And basically you have our homeboy, Augustine Hall, and he basically is talking about the prominence of cattle cultures in Nabta Playa, archaeological record, which preceded the worship of Hathor in ancient Kimi. And this material evidence from Nabta Playa has not only reshaped our understanding of cultural development in Northeast Africa, but has broader implications for the entire continent as a whole. If you understand that, Hathor and these, cattle culture, these pastoral domesticates, they started, the domestication process started in Northeast Africa and then spread to the rest of the continent. So those cattle cultures that you see in Napta Playa, according to Dr. Augustine Ho, they have profound significance for the rest of the continent. Appreciate y'all for being here. And I think, if y'all want to send a super chat, the super chats are open, memberships are open. I just got it, just upon getting monetization earlier this month. So, I appreciate any and all support. Obviously just started the Patreon. I have a video about Zionism on there. I'm about to post a video about what's going on with Niger, Burkina Faso, and Guinea on there. So, if y'all want to get that exclusive content on the Patreon, stay tuned. The cattle pose of the Dinka. I have that in one of my videos. Old dude Asar Imhotep. Check out these videos if y'all haven't seen them before. They're very, very fascinating, dealing with linguistics. I'm gonna get into some of my playlist, see if I can find African history. See if I can find the one I'm looking for. Yeah. Yeah, it's this one. You talking about the cattle dance? That's what Nile Valley was talking about. You talk about that cattle dance, that cattle pose of the Dinka, right? It represents the horns. It was basically them trying to mirror those Sanka cattle. So it's really profound how you see some of the cattle cultures, the cattle theology spreading into dynastic Kemet, showing that there's an infra-Saharan origin. Even if you look at Ovis Aries, or the bull that they used for Amun, that was actually in the Tenarian culture before it made its way to ancient Kemet. So you could use the cattle culture as a way of showing that infra-Saharan migration from Central Africa to Northeast Africa. So we get back to business. Back to business. Yeah, so just going through my community tab. If anybody wants to hop in, hit the link. If you got something to say or some input, it's more of a chillaxed show, Just going over the content that we were using to defend the integrity of Africa. That RV-88 kills him. That RV-88 is, that's a dagger right there. You got the pastoral economies. You already talked about that. They spread from Northeast Africa to West Africa. This is another one from Augustine Ho. See, a lot of people try to put Ho against Diop, but in many instances, they have a lot of similar views. According to Augustine Ho, the earliest example of archaic state development in Africa occurred in ancient Kimi, in the Happy River Valley. And this provides a blueprint to understand the evolution of complex societies on the continent. So again, it's fascinating research by Dr. Augustine Ho. Powerful stuff, really powerful stuff. And here we have some more archaeogenetic analysis. According to Dr. Augustine Ho, Chadic speakers of Central Africa migrated to Northeast Africa. The L3F3 haplogroup in particular shows the movement of these populations. You can see that in this graph here on the top right, the frequencies of L3F and all the research that he did to prove it. So he cites Rodemy, Schreiner to basically show that Chadic speakers migrated from the Nile Valley and arrived in Chad 3,700 years ago. So all of y'all who have Chadic people in your ancestry, some of your ancestors were Hausa, some of your ancestors were Mandara, you originated in the Nile Valley and you arrived in the Lake Chad area 3,700 years ago, according to the research of Dr. Augustine Hull. And now we got the leprosy. Look, they always try to talk about Abu Sir Malek, the Schunemann study. The study that showed that the ancient Egyptians are the modern Egyptians. Well, according to the analysis of Dr. Jean-Philippe Gourdin of leprosy in the late period at Abu Sir, the leprosy strain belongs to the 3L genotype in West Africa. That's also found in Brazil. And it clusters close to the S15 genotype in Martinique. I need to get some bomb sound effects, because that's a bomb right there. He's saying that leprosy in the late period of northern Egypt is a West African strain of leprosy. And what does it mean? According to the analysis of leprosy, it spread from North Africa to West Africa in the past 500 years. It seems to me that we may have an orature connection. Because if you say the contemporary populations of West Africa have a strain of leprosy that was found in Northeast Africa and only got to West Africa 500 years ago, to me, there's a deep connection there. You got sickle cell right there. Dr. Gourdin's analysis of sickle cell anemia in pre-dynastic Kemet is showing you a Holocene expansion 7,300 years ago from infra-Saharan Africa to the northern Happy River Delta. And you can see the HBS frequency right here. For all those who say that, they try to say that ancient Kimi never had sickle cell. According to the analysis of HBS, the Benin allele, this went from infra-Saharan or sub-Saharan inner Africa to Northeast Africa. Solid evidence. And obviously we got the tuberculosis. I mean, come on, like the tuberculosis. This is revealing a genetic connection between ancient Kimi and modern West Africans. Tuberculosis in the Middle Kingdom, the Mentu Hotep of ancient Kimi, reveals the presence of a West African L5 and L6 strains. According to that map, these are found in Senegal and Gambia. So Senegal and Gambia tuberculosis is found in the Middle Kingdom. And if you look at the evolution of tuberculosis in the Middle Kingdom and the tuberculosis complex, the Mycobacterium africanum tuberculosis complex, diverged into different species 6,000 years ago. So if you have an ancient version of this in the Middle Kingdom, This is dealing with a pre-dynastic. The older version is found in the Middle Kingdom. Modern strains are found in West Africa. It diverged 6,000 years ago. This is potentially a Badarian connection, a pre-dynastic divergence point between modern West Africans and the Middle Kingdom. Pre-dynastic. And this is also, again, associated with various populations in the Lake Chad Basin of Cameroon and Nigeria. They're linked to a Khartoumian migration 6,000 years ago, according to Augustine Hall and Dr. Cerny. So this tuberculosis research by Jean-Philippe Gourdin is showing you that inter-African connection. Indisputable. So what do y'all think? I need somebody to hit the link one time. Otherwise, we may just rock out a few more posts. I might even play some of my music, to be honest. Y'all may make me play some of my music. See if I can get it up here. Might just do that. Play some of my tunes. See what it is. What's good, Pan-African James? We just chilling here. I'm just going over some of my community tab posts. Just dealing with some of the content that we have. Just some of the different daggers that we have. We were just going over a lot of the genetic information, connecting classical Africa with contemporary Africa. We've been having a chill time so far. Go back and back. What's up, Strife77? Peace. Let me know if y'all want me to play some music, or if you want me to keep going over post. 1, if you want me to keep going over post. 2, if you want me to play some music. Oh yeah, we've been basically, the majority of the posts that we've been going over has been some content from the symposium. I haven't had the chance to translate it yet, but I'm gonna get to that. What's good, you rock? Taraj. Crap. I think I have to go to my Facebook. Yeah, I don't remember. Damn. Yeah, we'll have to. 1. I see a 1. I mean, we could go over, but I need someone to hit the link. We could go over some of these posts, but it's like I only have a certain bandwidth before I start vibing on a different wavelength. But yeah, we were going over some of the back migration stuff, some of the H1 and K back migration. People try to use those to diminish the Africanity, you know. How many of y'all got Black like Osiris? By Smash. We might pull. I think I may pull that up. I can't find anything. I may pull that up. I could get up my Amazon Kindle account, my Kindle reader. I mean, I have the account though. Yeah. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, I think this is good. Let me see if I can bring it up. I think y'all are on this tab right there. Do y'all see that? I don't think they see that. I don't think that. Yeah, they see this one. Oh, yeah, I gotta sign in again. Stop sharing the screen. Oh, there it was good. I didn't notice you were on stage yet. It was good.
Yeah, what's going on, Cam?
I'm just chilling, going over some of my community tab posts.
Yeah, I see you pop another pop up on us without even no notification.
I just wanted to. I kind of felt like going off. Sometimes it just happens. But I want to get into like more.
What inspired the rant?
It wasn't really a rant.
I just felt like going off.
Yeah, I just felt like there wasn't really anything. Wasn't really anything in particular. I just, felt the need to because I haven't been on in a while.
Right. And we definitely need to have a clearer view of the genetic argument, because that's kind of like what I specialty with you. I would definitely refer to you, but that's kind of like what I deal in is trying to make it clear from a genetic standpoint. Some people I see that a lot of people are trying to head that this way. You know what I mean? They call it the age of the genome, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting ready to head this way, and I'm looking at a lot of other people raising some arguments from a medical side, like Dr. David Reich, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about him and what he thinks of it? I mean,
he's really controversial. He's really
okay. I know that's why I wanted to get your opinion on him.
I mean, to me,
I just bought his book, right?
Yeah. I think the biological determinist side of things may be able to tell us certain things about medicine, but I don't know.
It's dangerous.
I don't know if it's like valid completely when it comes to like the evolution of Homo sapiens. I don't know if that's been proven yet. So I have like,
what do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean by that?
In terms of like, because basically David Reich is arguing for human differences between different populations, or that the races basically that there's a validity to race genetics
based on medical the medical findings that they have up in different, what we use the term is race, but different biological people that have biological affinities. It's kind of like they try to avoid saying race, but however they can, whatever words that they use, like groups, these type of words, people that have the same genetic groupings, they find certain physical ailments often in these particular people, and he says that gives it a validity to have a discussion. He also says that not doing so is also dangerous. I see both parts. I see both parts of it because it can be dangerous if they can use it for nefarious reasons, and it's also dangerous for us not to know that they have these capabilities. You know what I mean? So
I agree with that.
Aware.
I agree from the standpoint that race, from our socio-political experience, is real and it impacts us, obviously, right? But when you get into the territory of like biological race is real, especially, recently because before in the conscious community, like it was more Black nationalist and that wasn't really controversial. But now, like when you say that, you got to come with all the facts, all the proof, all the evidence, which is kind of why for me personally, even though biological racial distinctions, as you stated, absolutely can help us medically, absolutely. If we to die on the hill of saying biological race is real, I don't think is necessary for what we're trying to do.
Right.
That's all. That's all all of these racial
the nuances off, and because we gotta see a lot of this stuff. People can't even understand that this is some new information. This information just really came about since 2010. and they still have tried. They're just, as far as them having something genetically different from what they thought. They thought that we were all Homo sapiens sapiens with a mutation. When they found out in 2010 that it's actually archaic admixture, that changed the whole field of paleogenetics, right?
Yeah, it did.
See what I'm saying? So now we 12 years into this?
Yeah.
From this discovery. So they're trying to make, and it's so new, they're trying to make sense of what this new information means, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know.
We
really, and that's why you can't really make apodictic or without reasonable doubt statements, because even us, like, we're so-called, West and Central African Homo sapiens sapien, but Iwo Eleru, man, ancient Nigeria is not the same as us. It's a different branch. So we don't necessarily, we're not composed of the ancient population of West Africa. Only maybe a small percentage of like hunter-gatherers.
Okay, hold on, Cam. So, but see, what is the damn difference in the Yamna culture taking over Europe?
There's no difference.
You see what I'm saying? What is it? You know what I'm saying? These things happen, but at the same time, this happens on the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
No matter. I don't see what they say. Sometimes they put their foot in their mouth because they tell you what come out as one species as Homo sapiens sapiens. That's what comes out. No matter what admixture they took on for that 130,000 years prior, once they finally decide to come out at that 50,000 year threshold, they come out as what they termed as a Homo sapiens sapien. That's all that matters to me. What they find Homo naledi and what they find in Morocco at 300,000 years ago, that's African. You know what I'm saying? Unless they can show introgression with Neanderthal, and that's what they're using, right?
Okay. Do you agree with this? This is an official breakdown of Homo sapien versus Homo sapiens sapien.
Okay, so zoom.
BYU.
Let me make it big.
Let me see if I can let me try to boom it out.
Okay, I got it. I just made a full screen.
For sure. So it says Homo sapien means wise humans. They're a species of all the primates on the earth that are highly developed and well evolved, and humans belong to this category. The primates in this category are lemurs, lorises, apes, monkeys, to name a few. So humans fall into the domain Eukarya. And then such entities have DNA as their genetic material held in the form of chromosomes in the cells of eukaryotic living things. Okay, so that's like the grand scheme of things.
Slow down, Cam. You done tripped out. Hold on. Now you see what I'm saying? You always taking it too far, man. What are you talking about? What they talking about they said the Homo sapiens are lemurs, apes, monkeys, and so. And
no, they wrote this wrong. They're basically.
But hold on, are they adding humans off into this Homo sapien family at this time?
Yeah, they're basically saying that we're primates.
Correct.
And primates are lemurs, lorises, apes, monkeys, to name a few. Right? Okay. They kind of worded that a little bit weird, and I was reading it fast. So, but yeah, we're primates. Part of the primate category. And then our domain is eukarya or eukaryotes or multi-celled organisms.
Mm-hmm.
So we have DNA in the form of chromosomes seen in the nucleus of the cells of eukaryotic living things. So our domain is in the kingdom of Animalia under the phylum Chordata, and then further under the class Mammalia, categorized under the order primates.
Man.
That's our taxonomy according to the mainstream model.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is eukarya. What does that mean?
I mean, to me,
what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do they differentiate this eukarya from the rest of the primate? And do they have some? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do they? This is just some type of genetic model that they parsed out, and how could they go back that far to even do that?
That's basically. I think that's our classification beyond kink, because we're Homo, and then our domain is Eukaryota, and our kingdom is Animalia. So like Eukaryota would be like a many-celled organism, or an organism with like DNA in the nucleus. as opposed to like prokaryotic, which are like early bacteria. So yeah, Stripe has a eukaryotes, or organisms whose cells have a true nucleus along with membrane-bound organelles. Yeah, perfectly. So our cells are eukaryotic cells. And I do believe we may have some like microbes in our intestines, but I'm not sure if they are eukaryotes or prokaryotes. But like that's dealing with our fundamental cells, and then our kingdom is Animalia because we're animals, and then our phylum is Chordata because we have a vertebrae, and then you go down and down and down and down into the
Okay, now hold up. Go on, skip down to Homo sapiens. What are they saying about Homo sapiens sapiens? What they talking about on that?
So they say Homo sapiens sapiens are the subspecies coming from the Homo sapien. They comprise modern humans only. The scientific name for humans is Homo sapiens sapiens. Homo sapiens sapien is the definition of modern humans. This subspecies is said to have been distinguished about 160,000 years ago, who apparently moved to different continents based on archaeological research and findings.
That's interesting. So they're saying they mutate into Homo sapiens sapiens, and we saying about 300,000 years ago, right? Or that's the first mutation that we see. They say that what are they saying that they get to complete Homo sapiens sapiens at 160?
Well, it varies, like because the global the globular cranial vault is like an anatomical marker that they use for Homo sapiens sapiens.
Mm-hmm.
Other people use like modern behavior, like late Stone Age microlith technologies as Homo sapiens sapiens. Other people use a gene. So there's different philosophical like breakdowns of what is a Homo sapiens sapien, and it's not necessarily all agreed upon.
Okay, correct.
So this is like a breakdown of the difference. So like Homo sapien is a species of primate that's well developed. Sapien sapien is a subspecies comprising of modern humans. So Homo sapien evolved from early European modern humans approximately 300,000 years ago. And then this subspecies is said to have been distinguished about.
Wait. Go back to what did you just say?
See, that's where I'm like.
No. Go back. No, I thought I was hearing. I said, but I know Cam may make a mistake. No, wait a minute. Go back again, man.
He said,
I thought I heard something wrong.
He said Homo sapien is said to have evolved from early European modern humans approximately 300,000 years.
Come on, Cam. You laugh for real, man. He said, come on, let me see if you agree with this. man, I see. I was like, what's wrong with this? But man, no, I don't agree with this, Cam. This is what they got going on.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you go to some of these mainstream sources, right?
Yeah, you know, what's crazy about it, Cam, is, if you really just speak, man, I damn near need glasses. I read so much about genetics now. So I'm like, yo, I see so many ways that they try to infer what they want, and then the data, it's just like what smashing them and running into with the meta nature. Now that we got abilities to read what they actually said, you're gonna see them from the Schuleman report to the Moulter report. Every time it's a flaw. Even the Cell report to me, it was flawed.
Yeah.
Every report is flawed. And then when we bring up contention, we're just blackologists.
Well, you have a contention,
but they don't even do enough they don't at least study enough to even have a understanding that African people have a right to object when we see something wrong with data.
Yeah.
They put the data out there for everybody to read. That's why they use these journals. And that's why I appreciate about Brother Reggie. He has brought the standard of journal writing to the community.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely need to have things in peer-reviewed journals.
Yes.
Like, that's super important. Because that beats like the so-called, Wikipedia, Encyclopedia Britannicas and all that stuff, because they source from the journals, right? They get their sources from the journals. So yeah, this is just a funny example of like some of the propaganda that you may see, and as we know, the difference, the distinction, the exact dividing line between Homo sapien and Homo sapien sapien is not established at all, right? And I got a video coming up about these West African archaic humans that's going to break it down. And the fact that, like, to this point, they found maybe 3 genes in modern West Africans that they've also found in ancient West Africans, maybe 3. So
you're basically was a total genetic replacement.
Yes,
at some point, just like the Yamna. So that's what I'm saying. They'll accept a total replacement in Europe, but they don't think that North Africa could have went to a total genetic replacement, or even what Africans on the inside of the continent could sweep across the continent with a total genetic replacement of a certain group.
You know, I'm going to bring up something. I'm going to bring up, you're reminding me of one of my favorite sources about genetics. And it kind of gets into some of the misconceptions that people have. And I remember reading the article from them where they talk about population replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And the differences. And it's funny that most of these sources that we are using, you know, they're coming from Western media, Western, you know, information. These are not African-centered Blackology sources at all.
Yeah, like that DO paper, man. Like, I think it'd be better served over here on this platform, but I want to break that paper down one day, Cam.
Wait, which paper?
DO paper.
Which one? The Shake out to Job's paper, you said?
No, the recent findings that they have on the genetic side of the DO. You know, where they try to postulate the D. Well, E was outside of Africa, was a Eurasian haplogroup.
Yeah, Haber. I think I posted that.
Yeah, they found DO over there, and what is that, in Chad or Nigeria?
Nigeria, yeah. Nigeria.
Yeah, see, we need to break that down. What do you think about that paper? I know, but you read it, right?
Are you talking about Haber's paper?
Yeah, I think that may be the paper. Yeah, that's it, because there's the chart. See what I'm saying? You see how I see that chart? I say, yep, that's it. That's it right there. See what I'm saying?
C and FT
don't even be
came from the African continent.
Go ahead.
I didn't get that. You try again.
We got that Syrian.
What happened?
Yeah,
it was weird. Like, I think Siri or something took over the screen, but like this paper shows that FT and DE could have been on the African continent, could have originated on the African continent.
Okay, now you said could. What is the hesitation on saying did?
Well, could and did, because it's about
hold on. I do understand that you can always find something somewhere else.
Yeah, most likely. Most likely, if we consider the fact that human beings originated in Africa, the archaeology would lend support to C, D, E, and FT being in the African continent, right? Now, if we solely use genetics, it's likely, mostly because there's still like the other examples where you see them afterwards. Like, I think at the chart, which is that? What example is that? I think D is where you see E, and then C, D, and FT come back. Is that right, or am I looking at that wrong?
No. Oh yeah, if you're talking about the middle chart, that's how it is. But no, see when they showing those charts, they lining it up based on the haplogroup mutation. That's how they line it up. They're saying that it didn't mutate to these certain mutations to around what they say about 50,000 years ago, and they saying that's before the introgression with Neanderthal happened. So they're saying that if these haplogroups happen at a 60,000 year clip or whatever they happen at, and I think some of them are even dated to 70,000. That's how they know that the introgression had not happened yet.
Yeah, that is right. You're right, because I'm looking at it right now again, and the first one says CT came from Africa.
The last chart is the correct chart based on the time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's how they know. They know the introgression time frame. So they use those other, what the postulations is all across the board. And they said the introgression didn't happen at 70,000. The introgression didn't happen at 100,000. And they're using the mutations of those haplogroups as their time frame and say, hey, that it wasn't no introgression. So they're genetically African or Homo sapiens sapiens.
And the thing about it, like, I'm gonna let Nyami into the stage. The thing about it is, like, people get on you. They call you Neanderthal James. Mm-hmm. But every time I read a genetics article and they distinguish between an African and Eurasian, Neanderthal is the boundary condition. Mm-hmm. That's always the boundary condition. so it's like, are y'all reading the same articles that I'm reading?
Yep, they're not. They don't even understand what I'm saying. And I come to find out, I thought that this was some type of a joke at first, but I come to find that I must be that far ahead of our people. And I thought by simplifying that they would be able to then, but they use my simplification as ignorance. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of wild.
No, I remember when you showed that one chart with the modern Egyptians, and they were majority Middle Eastern. They didn't even have North African ancestry. Like, that's crazy. Every single time that I look at modern Egyptians, I always see Middle East. I always see Eurasian. I don't see ancient North African. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
they don't even understand that the genetics flipped over and that it once was a population with ancient North African DNA. They don't even know what that is.
They don't
understand. And then when we start to do we'll start to do the chronology of the mutations of the haplogroup. If it's E1B1 or E1, then that's before the introgression. See how far you know E is before the introgression. You date it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they keep going up E1. They going on the phylogenetic tree. By the time it gets to what? E1B1A or whatever, the introgression properly, whatever D or whatever the I think it's DO. By the time it gets to DO, because the E comes out of D. By the time it gets to DO, the introgression has not happened yet. You see what I'm saying? That is how they're measuring this. And in this paper, if you read it, it's going to introject Mota. It's going to keep happening. Every time you do it, they're going to keep start talking about Mota. You're going to be like, damn, why he keep popping up?
Well, you know that we're more closely related to Mota than the Shumlaka culture.
Mm-hmm. Because okay, now hold up, break that down, Cam.
So if you look at the Forager genomic study by Lipson, and I have it on my page, but they break down like a genome-wide analysis of African populations, and if you look at the chart, you'll see that Mota in Ethiopia is a lot closer to modern West Africans in the so-called Shumlaka culture. And I'm trying to find the specific chart. It's like, it feels like deep into my page. And we went over all these studies like in the first part. Damn, it couldn't have been that deep. I do post a lot though. It had to have been at New Year's. Damn. That's a lot of posts. There it is. Okay. You see that? Good.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so you see Shumlaka's way up here. That's way up here, this branch. Mm-hmm. Mota's right there.
Correct.
This is us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Ethiopia. This is ancient Central West Africa. This is modern West Africa. Modern West Africa is closer to Ethiopia 4,000 years ago, 4,500 years ago, than the so-called Shumlaka culture.
Hold on, Cam, though. I seen this chart before. Ain't it some Neanderthal or European over there to the left or something?
Yeah, Mota doesn't have that, but these are like these are the so-called ancient humans who left Africa, mixed in with the so-called Neanderthal, and then you see some back migration with the
Oh, so that time, so at this time, okay, I see what's going on now. As we go down this tree, they saying that Mota is more closely related to the West African. Where is the East African on the chart?
They're right here, like the Semite speakers are like right in here, and they have some back migration ancestry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So all that back migration and Neanderthal stuff is over there in the yellow.
Yeah, this yellow stuff right here, all the mix. But Mota didn't have any Neanderthal.
Yeah, I know.
So Mota
should have been. They should have swung his ass over there to
the. Seriously,
he should be right over there, at least in the middle. They see, but you know how it go, man. Anyway, they out of control with this. I just be tripping. But I seen this chart and I probably read this paper too, because that's all I do is collect papers and read them. I read whole papers, just so I can make sure I'm on point. But I've read this paper probably within the last couple of weeks. The same chart.
And you see the Neanderthal. This is the Neanderthal right here, and like they're saying that the ghost archaic, the so-called ancient West African, is like right here, and then it gets into there, like all the way down to like there. So they don't really know what all this is genomics. They don't really know what this is. They just say that it's not Homo sapiens sapien.
But I think that's their way of trying to get in the back door, because they trying to say that ghost West African ghost population is possibly related to Neanderthal. So they just won't stop. I'm telling you, how you be? I know you heard that, right?
No, they and I heard them try to say,
how the hell are you gonna associate some ghost shit that you don't even have no DNA for? You just automatically associated it with That's crazy. I was like, these folks just won't stop.
Oh, and Yame and Bluetooth popped off.
Yeah, I was trying to let the brother get in. But
yeah, I didn't know if he wanted the speaker say anything. So he's like, I said, I would love to see you do videos debunking Chief X. Chief X is a kindergarten, to be honest. Like, when I listen to Chief X, none of his arguments seem serious.
Yeah, he's not somebody to take serious. But like I say, man, I think I need to probably I want to break down something in a simplistic form from a chronological perspective to try to give us a genetic something genetically to where it'll be sound to where they will no longer even be able to say anything else, period. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand this tricky with the DNA, but the thing that me and you know that the least amount of DNA in this whole database is African. And I'm always of the opinion that these people do things purposefully. Like you will tell us that it's the climate, it's this, the reason why we can't do it is funding. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. You know what I'm saying? I think that they could go off in the Petrus bone of any cave and find DNA and retrieve DNA with this new way they do it now. So I think that they just don't want to know. Well, I think geneticists want to know, but I think as a whole, Europeans, the people who fund this don't want to know.
No, they don't want to know.
Because geneticists want to know.
Yeah.
But, they act like they want to know, but they proclaim that it's the funding that's keeping them from being to be able to extract as much ancient DNA from the continent. But that if you ever see, I know you probably looked at that chart as well, and where the sister, she did something on some cattle cultures coming from a lake in East Africa, down there in Tanzania. Have you seen that study?
No, I haven't seen that. What's that one called?
Hold on, let me see if I can find it, Cam. But she uses the cattle. She's showing the migration of the cattle culture going from the Nile Valley, from Naphtali on down the Nile River. She's talking about pastoralism, how it starts in the Nile River Delta, and she's saying that they postulate that it goes down and that it reaches South Africa by 2,000 years, and it reaches West Africa by 2,000.
Oh yeah, no, actually,
I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know you know. That's why I'm thinking I do it. Just go ahead and describe it to you, but you know what I'm talking about.
EV 1515. That's what that is. EV1515.
See, you going, and I hate those terms. I like the E1B1A, the E1B1B. These EVs and EM38s, all this stuff is confusing me.
Yeah, it is because the way that they do the nomenclature is super weird. It's super weird. But let me try to find. I'm gonna try to find like that post in particular because I have a whole thing on Canva that I use to like make these posts.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try to.
Yeah, but that was a good paper. What she showed genetically, how the migration went.
Yeah, it was and Felix Chami even like has a lot of like great resources with respect to that. Like he's got a lot of good stuff, like a lot of good evidence. It won't let me do it.
Man, I sure want to show you this. I want to show you something, man. Hold on, I just want to show you a map.
I'm gonna remove
and
this.
See what you think about this in a second.
If I stop screen. Yeah, I'm just trying to find this one post that kind of refers to what you were talking about.
Yeah, but that paper had a good chart.
So you see this?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so like this is dealing with like if you look at EV1515, literally started in the Nile Valley, right? In Northeast Africa, according to Dr. Trombetta et al. Then it spread southward during the pastoral Neolithic period and is represented by EM293 in southern Africa.
Slow down, Cam. What is EV1515? Is that E1B1B?
Yeah, that's a subclade of EM35.
See what I'm saying? That EM35. So you got to know these way they've changed these because I'm an E1B1B, E1B1A.
Oh, you prefer that way? So E1.
Yeah, and if you go down that hole, they can't get around it. It's all you know what I'm saying? Like, so if I go to E1B1B1A, I know that that's a later downstream mutation, and the more letters and numbers that they add on, I know that they're still coming off that E1B1. See, they can't get around it that way. From a simplification standpoint. Yeah. When you start down this EM35, you can lose people. This EV1515. But so EM35 is what, E1B1B?
That's E1B1B1.
Okay, now what is EV1515 in that same structure? See?
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
It's gonna be a later down mutation off of this EM35, which is E1B1B1, right?
Yeah.
But if you show it that way, or if you just show them both, that will let people know that only know the E1B1A that you're talking about. It's a later down the phylogenetic tree.
Yeah, let's do Whitefull. Let's open up.
I love simplification because I don't want their ass to be able to get out of.
Yeah, I feel it because they use these complicated terminologies to try to fool people.
We want to simplify this to where they can't. Everybody knows E1B1A and E1B1B is African American. So we can't get away from that. Even Africans would know that when we start to try to go off into these different things because they try, I don't know, why do they change those to EM35 and so because it's getting too long or something?
It's a nomenclature.
Right.
It's a nomenclature. So if I go V1515, should be able to pick you guys. And see, sometimes it's hard to find too. You get it, it's hard to find. Oh, there we have it. That's 1515. So 1515 is CTS 10880. And that's Z827. Okay, so I can pick it up.
But how are you going to be able to translate?
I got this code.
I want to know how far down they is from E1B1. Okay. That's how I be wanting to know. How far down? Because see, you got people that's from it's this Coptic guy that's around now. And he's talking about they always talk about we E, so we indigenous. But I want to know how far down you in the E's are you? Are you is your E? I wonder what is the mutation for when I wonder if they have a mutation some Arabs who got in there. How do they do that? Well, I already know they only do that. You can't do it through the mutation because the mutation you could be any race, but you can do it through introgression. That's what I say. I mean, that's what I've come to realize. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's honestly, when you play the sex chromosome game, it's like the one drop rule, to be honest, because it's like you could be of one ethnicity and then literally have like, you could be white and have E1B1A.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we can't use that. Only thing we could use is the amount of introgression.
I found it. So
let me see what it say.
So
hold on, go back, Cam. Was that it?
Yeah, that's the clade. Wait, where did I go? Yeah, that's the clade.
See, that's a way down further mutation.
It's super downstream. It's super downstream. But it's like, but what it is wait, I was trying to find it's E1, B1, B1, B2B.
Where you at? Right there where the orange is?
I'm at a different page.
Right there. Like where you at the orange, where the orange part is?
I'm gonna paste this right here. So this one. See this right there?
Yeah.
See that? So that's EV EV1515 is right there. EV1515.
But no, if we go right there to that right there, that's the actual one that I'm looking for. The E1, B1, 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 3B, with 3B or that 2B. So that's how you would say that off in
E1, B1, yeah. B1, B1, B2B, yeah.
So that's how you would say it. And so hold up, in Egyptian time, where is Motet? He had E1B1. He had E1B1 or E1B1B.
Somebody said it in the chat. Somebody said
I got his DNA. He's
EM329. 329. That's what somebody said. That's probably way earlier. EM329. That's definitely like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's before the introgression.
Yeah,
that's how they know. They're like, man, no, he's before introgression.
Yeah, that's E1B1A2. That's way earlier.
So how many letters and numbers we got? We got 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So that's before introgression. That's how I do it. Once they showed me the introgression move, it was over.
Yeah, that introgression is pretty big.
Yeah, now hold up. Now see, I'm not just totally saying that introgression is the only thing that we use. You use the linguistic back migration, so we know that they started speaking Arabic when they got there. See what I'm saying? They're speaking the same language. So that tells, it's another paper that I showed. I think that, I don't know if you've seen that paper where they talk about the 750 years of them being in the region. You seen that paper? It's the one where they're trying to find out which route did they take, the southern route or the northern route.
You talking about the Arabs?
No, the Africans on the out of Africa migration.
Oh,
And then they used 225 modern Egyptians and modern Ethiopians to they used their DNA samples up against Mota and some Eurasian DNA to measure the back migration. And they say that based on their findings that they got the Eurasian, 80% of their Eurasian DNA get there at 750 years ago.
Wow. That's a dagger right there. That's a dagger.
Yeah. Then the other day you hit them with they only got. I wish you had the exact number of their archaic or their ancient North African DNA.
Oh, we could pull it up.
When you said that they had the least amount of North Africa, ancient. I was like, see, that's what
we could definitely pull that up. That was El Camel, I think. No, this one was huge. This one right here was like the circumsaharan, like that, just like. That destroyed him right there.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? So you hitting them, and then I'm like, I go over there, Cam hitting them too. So I'm like, man. So that paper right there, I would like to look into that one as well.
Yeah, Diallo, the circumsaharan maternal lineage. Anybody like Chief X, Garfield tried to say that, Kemet had nothing to do with West Africa. Like this circumsaharan mtDNA study, dead's all that. It's in a coffin.
Yeah, see, but I need to get a hold of it so I can put the simplification on it.
Yeah, I can send it to you. That was at the this scholar presented it at the symposium, at the Diop symposium.
You talking about the one that just happened last month?
Yep.
Oh, so that's fresh off the press.
Yeah, it's fresh.
Okay, yeah, I need that because I'll put the simplification down with no hesitation. So yeah, man, we need to start hashing this out on the genetic level over here, Cam. I think, because I seen they keep trying to call us pseudos. I don't like it.
Nah.
I seen it go to call you a pseudo in the chat the other day.
In what chat? Which chat?
It was I think they was over there on Side Netters or something.
Oh really?
Smash was over there one day having he was talking about Black like Osiris. Yeah, maybe yesterday or the day before, and some kind of way we'll pop up, and they was calling you a pseudo, but it was in Gozy. I was like, that's a damn shame. He said, I don't really like. I was like, that's a shame. But they characterize us like this, and people really, that's the sad part is people will really believe them because they built equity in the community where me and you, we just really just showed up.
Yeah, really. Like it was Reggie. Reggie wanted me to start making content. I will always send him stuff. When he was debating, I would always send him content. He's like, you need to start your channel. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I noticed that the genetic argument is a little bit beyond what Reggie wants to deal with.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
That's on me and you probably, Cam. I'm telling you. I think that we might need to come in like Smash them that came through with the metal nurture and gone on to end the genetic argument for now. With some sound and simplistic, nothing too over the people's heads, because that's what we really need to try to reach and make them understand. Like the information that they're bringing, some people are bringing forth have some type of indoctrination elements to it, or some type of genetic affinities to these particular populations, and why they coming up with these analyses that they're coming up with. And there's nothing wrong with that when you have an understanding of that of what's going on. I don't, if I'm 50% European, I'm gonna fight for that too.
Y'all see this?
Yeah, recent historical migration.
I want to share that particular page, not this one. Yeah.
I wonder if I should try to find that paper.
Yeah, so this is the paper. So like basically,
yeah, that's it, right? Is that it?
This shows that there was an Arabization genetically in the 7th century. There was an Arabization period, So like, when you scroll down to the admixture, and you see Sub-Saharan gray, North Africa orange, Middle East blue, Europe green. You look at Egypt. Look at Egypt. Egypt is Middle East, and K = 5. Egypt is Middle East. And it's orange. That's orange is North Africa, but this got more Europe than North Africa. So Egypt is damn near, like, to me, that's 80% Eurasian of a modern Egyptian population.
Well, hold up, though. Like, I mean, how is it changing as you going down from K5 to K4 to K3 to K2?
K5 is just more refined, so it's more of like a closer look at the admixture.
Yeah, because I noticed if you go down, it's getting
if you go all the way
almost
down,
all green at the bottom
European.
With a little bit of what is it? Gray? What did you say? Gray represents?
Gray Sub-Saharan Africa, so-called Sub-Saharan African.
Now what is the green?
The green is European.
Well, how long this been going on?
What the European?
Yeah. Okay. Now. Yeah. What is the dating on this? Like, how long have they been this much European? They don't have no type of. They saying this has always been the case.
Well, if you let me scroll up and deal with figure 2.
Because that ain't correct.
Well, that's just at K2. But if you go to K5, I would say K5, they're majority Middle East. And then maybe minority European and smaller minority North African. But of all these groups of North Africa, who has the least amount of North African? It's the Egyptian.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Well, wait. But what's going on? Well, the people with the most orange, who are they?
The Sahrawi and the Southern Sahara population.
Okay, you see where that red is right there?
Yeah, that's a weird, the Chen Berber.
Okay, yeah. Now go down where it says all that orange at. See what I'm saying? If you going on down, they got a lot of orange, whatever that is. You said they the Chin Berbers?
The Tunisian Berbers.
Now, why does it turn red right there? What's that?
Because they're super isolated. They're super isolated.
So it's saying they stayed orange? Or why is it red?
Well, they basically like they're separate from all the other Berbers.
Okay.
Like if you go, I think there's another chart that shows it too.
I wonder what the hell they look like. And like if we went and looked at what they look like,
yeah,
they the most North African that I'd have seen. I would love to see what they phenotypically look like if they that much North African. What does that look like with no admixture?
Chinini. Well, to me, it would be the Tuareg, because the Tuareg have the highest number of indigenous North African haplogroups.
Mm-hmm.
So Chinini, these looks like a bunch of white folks in the in the village.
Yeah, this ain't adding up. Cam, I'm telling you.
It's like
I'm gonna have to be the hard one on here. But that ain't adding up, Cam.
But look at the Sahrawi, because the Sahrawi in this study have the majority of the orange. And I've seen them look all types of different. Like I've seen like this one,
mm-hmm.
Some of them look like that,
right.
Some of them look like that. So I've seen a variety of them. They have a different, like the Southern Moroccan people, they look light and dark at the same time.
Yeah, see, now I could go with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but you're still we're talking about in the 21st century or whatever. So this is how these modern people look. But if we go back 3,000, 5,000 years ago, man, no.
Yeah, they would probably have been like way darker in the humid Sahara.
So when does the green Sahara dry up?
5,000 years ago.
See what I'm saying? That's when we broke out and went south. Just think about it. Now, if we pulled up a map right now, Cam, right, and just show where people the dispersal options when it dries up, you're gonna be. Some of those Africans got stuck up there in what they call now the Maghreb, in the livable areas. You know, some of them got stuck up there, right? They just
did.
went to where it was livable at.
Well, to me, that's the Tuareg, because they have, like, if you look at what they say is the Berber marker, EM81 and H1 on the mtDNA side, the Tuareg or the Imohag, they have the most of that. Of any people on the planet, they have the most. So to me, when I look at these Tuareg populations, they would probably look like the original North African, or these original so-called back migration, you know, in the Paleolithic time.
Right. Yeah, and with and then they get introgressed later on through all the different invasions that happen across the northern Maghreb, and they stuck up there, so they don't have a way to get any genetic reinforcements from the what's going on the southern part of the Sahara, you know, because that's what it's all about. So they got invaded with genetics that was non-African from that northern Sahel to what we see today. But if they would have had some reinforcement, just like Mexico. So Mexico, you see now, they're coming up. I'm in Texas. They're coming up and they're bringing those genetics up into America. So you have brothers that's admixing with these people, and they're having children with them.
Yeah.
It's happening right here in America.
Here in California, too. I mean, he's in California. You know, but the thing about the Tuareg, from my study of Sheikh Anta Diop and Obenga, they said we always had beef with them. Like the so-called Libu, and ancient Kini, we always fought with them. We had a long-standing beef with them.
Yes, of course. And see, but now let's go off into nature. When you look at the other parts of nature besides humanity, everything in nature, brother, whether if it's a black or a red ant, they're both ants, but they still see phenotypical difference that'll cause them to fight, right? Yeah. All across the board, this is going on all across nature. What makes us unique to where we think that this would not be the case?
We're supposed to be more intelligent.
Yeah, you know, that's BS. We know it's not, because we see wars happening right now. Yeah. War is going on right now, based on ethnic differences, and these people having phenotypical and genetic differentiations that cause them to have strife. So, it's just unfortunate that we can't think like the ancestors should have or had us on the path of thinking with nature, to maybe simplify some of these things that we find so complex.
This was in the earlier in the stream, but I wanted to share this with you because to me this was like pretty fascinating. Dealing with the Dogon is
You're
on
not
my
sharing none if you should.
Let me share the screen real quick. Share window. Where is it at? It's not letting me. Chrome tab. There it is. All right. So, can you see this?
Yeah, I was, and you know what? I went back. I wanted to see this chart.
So this is the genetic structure in the history of Africans and African Americans. This is one of the most comprehensive studies of Africa and the diaspora. So you look at the phylogenetic chart, you see African American, you see North Carolina, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and that's right in between this chart.
Hit that magnet thing right there you got. Can you do that?
Where's that?
It look like this. You just click it because it's saying magnify.
Where's that?
Just click it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is for sure.
Yeah, that's
right there. That's as much.
Yeah, that's cool right there.
All right, for sure. So you see African American, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you see Gbaya, Hausa in Central Africa, right there in that branch right there. You see some Fulanis going over there, and then you see like coming like in that branch. And this is another like link. This is another like relative, like Igbo, Yoruba, all that type of stuff. And then on this side, you see Yoruba, Tikar, Bamum, Igala, right? So that's pretty fascinating. But what's crazy is you come up here to Northeast Africa and you see the Dogon. Why do you think that is?
Wait a minute. That's right at the top right there.
That's the Beja in Northeast Africa, the Falasha Ethiopians. Then you got the Dogon.
How
right
is that
there.
possible?
Well, they said
that's at the top of the damn tree.
They said they migrated from ancient Kemet. They said they came from the Upper River Valley.
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
I'm just saying though, we got hold on, Sal. You hit me with a doozy right here, right? So hold on, how is this possible? Hold on, I'm looking at this chart. I need this chart. I'll have to go back and get this. But man, this is they're Southern Africa. Is that Cape Town? Cape Admixture ancestry. Cape mixture ancestry.
The colors. The so-called colors in Southern Africa. Then you got these Afro-Asiatic, like these Cushitic people right here, right? So
right, that would be what, Chad?
Yeah, Chad, Sudan, all that type of stuff. Some of these are Somalia. You have Nilo-Saharan.
Oh man, I gotta understand this. Go back up to the Dogon again. How the hell is that going? So hold on, the Dogon are before all of that.
Yep.
Man, go back. Well, let's go back to the Mozabites. Okay, that's the big. So what's going over here to the left? That's all non-Africans over there.
Yeah,
right?
These are non-Africans right here.
Okay, so bam, how do they get into the tree? But I don't want to even focus on them. Okay, we got the Mozabites at the top of the chart. Now, where is that at? East Africa?
Those would be North Africans. Those would be like Northwest Africans.
Why are they at the top of this tree?
Berber. So I'm assuming that this is what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that these are Eurasians who mixed in with North Africans. That's what I'm thinking that they're trying to get with this, right? But at the same token, Beta Israel, are they saying that Beta Israel has Eurasian, Beja in Northeast Africa has some Eurasian?
Yeah, click it, make it back big again. Hold on, I'm seeing the color chart too. So what is that? Afro-Asiatic.
The blue.
And they on that blue line too.
Yeah, the blue. Okay,
yeah, get back to that. So they saying some kind of, well, why are they on the top of the damn chart? That's not right.
Well, this is the relatedness. This is how much these populations are related to each other. Now, we obviously know that these are working hypotheses. These are not necessarily affirmed, but this is just like the so-called linguistic category of these populations. But genomically, as you can see, it's like you got the Igbos and the Yorubas. That makes sense. Fang, that makes sense. But then right there, you got Nilo-Saharan. Right next to Ashanti and Igbo. Nilo-Saharan.
That's so this is the genetics. This is genetics?
Yeah, it's genetics.
I thought is this linguistics or what's going on?
It's genetics.
This sure is kind of jumbled up, mixed up, kind of weird.
It is.
What is the difference? I mean, what is the percentage of this being accurate? What is the chance of this being an accurate rendition of the?
Get into the methodology if you want to pull up.
That's kind of weird. How what's going on here?
Genetic structure and history of Africans and African Americans.
I see Christopher Eric's in the mix.
Yeah, he always is. Do you think that it's sad that we have to use like Western scholars, or do you think that that's part of the war?
Well, from what Dr. Clark said, you're gonna have to let them put their data out first, and then you have to examine it, and then make your own decision, because we don't have the resources to actually go in and do these studies ourselves. So we have to, unfortunately, what I'm observing, wait for them, because I just seen that South Africa just got a genetic lab, so they won't have to outsource their DNA.
No, that's what's up.
You see what I'm saying? So they just got a lab where they can do the ancient DNA, and they got the machines. Matter of fact, what was funny when I read the paper, that China duplicated the machine that the Europeans had made at a cheaper price. And then they gifted it to the Africans. And then in the paper, right, they're using the Chinese machine versus the European built machine, and they're using to see what percentage that the Chinese machine is off. You see what I'm saying? So that's a wild paper. Sometimes I need to, I don't know, I think you be reading the same stuff I'm reading. When I read that, I just smiled, because Chinese, they don't give a shit either. They trying to help.
Yeah.
They like, y'all can't get it, we'll give y'all one of our machines that we just stole all the copyright from them from. They sent it right to South Africa. They got a lab down there. I wish I could find the paper so I could send it to you so you could read it, because it was good. That was another good journal article. Yeah,
we're gonna get into the Nile Valley Boys, because it's like how the Dogon and colors are so closely related to Cushitic people, especially the color. These ethno-linguistic groups completely messed us up. Facts. So like if we go to the article, it basically says that Africa is the source of all modern humans, but characteristic genetic variation, but characterization of genetic variation and the relationships among populations across the continent has been enigmatic. We studied 121 African populations, 4 African American populations, and 6 non-African populations for patterns of variations at 1,327 nuclear microsatellite and insertion deletion markers. We identified 14 ancestral population clusters in Africa that correlated with self-described ethnicity and shared cultural and/or linguistic properties. We observed high levels of mixed ancestry in most populations, reflecting historic migration events across the continent. Wow, it's important right there. So we're not homogenous. We've been mixing, for centuries, millennia. Our data also provide evidence for shared ancestry among geographically diverse hunter-gatherer populations, Khoisan, Pygmies. The ancestry of African Americans is predominantly Niger-Kordofanian, 71%, European, 13%, and other African, 8% populations, although admixture levels varied considerably among individuals. This study helps tease apart the complex evolutionary history of Africans and African Americans, aiding both anthropological and genetic epidemiological studies. So they get into the methodology a little bit here, SMPs and microsatellites and all that stuff. But the figure that we were looking at, that was figure 1, unrooted neighbor joining tree from pairwise data. I think that's lambda squared microsatellite genetic distances between populations. Then African population branches right are color-coded according to language family classification. Non-African are shown on the left. Population clusters by major geographic regions are noted.
Let me just tell you, Cam, you ain't even got to go through it. I just figured it out. Because once I went it back in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the European connection at the top. That's why. I don't know what's wrong with me. My bad for even putting you through that.
Well, so you see that?
You know how they got them connected at the top? That's why. They always put themselves in the mix like that. So they're just showing their connection, and they're not gonna leave themselves out of any study. So my bad for even tripping. But hold on, I got some clips I want to share with the family. Watch this. Let me see if I can share a quick clip.
Show me.
Dang, where's my clips at? Let me see. Is that the window? Hold on. Let me see something. Hold on, let me see now. Oh man. Oh, it's gotta be this window. Man, I don't know. See, I'm on StreamYard. I don't know how to do this. Because it's gonna share. Hold on, let me just put it. Hold on, let me hit share it, and I'm gonna go to this other window real quick. I wonder if that's how it works. Hold on, watch.
Yeah.
Can you see? Can you see something?
Yeah, I added it.
Okay, can you see this?
Yep. I might need to put the music down. I can't hear it though. Yeah, the sound isn't coming through.
You can't hear what he's saying?
Nuh-uh.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Because I noticed it wasn't I didn't see that that thing where it says when you hit present, it got a little it says, now where's the sound button at? Also share. Is it? Yeah, that's on. So hold on, let me see what's gonna happen. Let's see if this works. Okay, let's try this. Can you hear that?
Let me add it to the stage.
Can you hear the sound?
Play it.
Okay.
We found was that Neanderthals are not our ancestors. So that was the first kind of discovery that they're really not just the ancestors of modern day Europeans, but Europeans do share some of their ancestry with Neanderthals. So we have about 98% of our ancestry coming from Africa, from those people that are from Neanderthals. But to our surprise, what we also found is that the same is true for people that live in China today. The same is true for people that live in Papua New Guinea or in Australia, and the same is true for the people that live in North and South America, so India. And what we found was that Neanderthals are not our ancestors. So that was the first kind of discovery that they're really not just the ancestors of modern day Europeans, but Europeans do share some of their ancestry with Neanderthals. So we have about 98% of our ancestry coming. We also have 2% that come from Neanderthals.
So what do you think about that, Cam?
I mean,
what is he saying? I mean, I just wanted to get your opinion. What is he saying?
He's saying 2% of their genes of Europeans is not from Homo sapiens.
So what is he saying?
He's saying they got Neanderthal, and that's what distinguishes them as a population. That's really that's legitimately what
So what is he saying, Cam? So he said that they are 98% Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yep. And 2% Neanderthal. That's what he just said.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, how hard is that? Because I told the reason why I shared that with you, because I argued with Unc them for 3 years, right? I said, man, since they found this new information, they no longer, because see, they used to think that everybody was just 99.9% the same before they even found this DNA. But they just said that the explanation before they found the DNA was just mutation based on environmental pressures, right?
Yeah.
When they found the DNA, they said, okay, no, our measurements is off. We're not 99.9% the same. we're based on the introgression, your individual introgression level, you can be from a various range from 1% to all the way up to 4%, depending on your individual introgression level. So these people are not Homo sapiens sapiens as we are. They're Homo sapiens sapien, Homo Neanderthal admixture at 2% introgression. At 2%, and that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying they 50% Neanderthals and nothing like that.
But that's what people think you're saying when you bring it up. They think you're saying that like they're Neanderthals and we're not. You know,
well, they are.
From a culture, and you can mean it culturally, socially, politically.
Okay, now hold on. Let me ask you this: if somebody got 0 or something, and you got 2% or something, you 100% of something that I'm not, regardless of what however the measurement is. If I got 0 and you got anything, in my opinion, you got 100% of something I don't have. You see what I'm saying? No matter how minimal it is, you got 100% of something that I don't got almost.
What I would look at is like when a black person and a white person have kids, right? Mm-hmm. And then that child, like Patrick Mahomes, right? His Neanderthal is probably like 0.6 or something like that, right? So like it doesn't choose. The genes don't choose 50-50. Sometimes they could choose all of mom. Sometimes they could choose all of dad, or majority mom, majority dad. So it'll be interesting to see, like, with mixed people with mixed heritage, what level.
We could use Obama for that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a real 50-50. We see what happened. see, we could use his measurements to show a 50-50. But anybody that's on this continent is going to already have admixture. So his dad might have been maybe 93% or 92 or 90% when he procreated with Patrick Mahomes' mother. But that already put Patrick Mahomes at a 40. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
60-40. He was 60-40 right then. Then he didn't win in. And now, we could only imagine, no disrespect, because nobody is responsible for how they're procreating. So let me just say that. I'm not tripping. But we just talking about really just the nuances of genetics and what we find in 2024 and what this introgression, this information that they have, because we didn't even touch on Denisovans. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's another with the Pacific Islanders and
you see what I'm saying? We didn't even touch on that.
What do you think about, because the ghost archaic is what so many people talk about, and mainly it's people like, in the Western world, white folks who want to say that black people have like ancient, archaic, non-Homo sapien ancestry. From my research, very minimal. Like most of us don't even have 1% of that ancestry.
Wait a minute. It's like, they said up to 19% in West Africa. What does that mean?
Well, those are like certain Mandinka hunter-gatherers. Okay. But I actually have a video coming up about that topic. It's a short video. Mm-hmm. And it's basically going to break down there's 3 genes in modern West Africans that they say came from those archaic West Africans. 3.
Only I was questioning that high of a percentage, because see, if you're going to say that y'all found 19% of some ghost DNA in West Africa, then how could the human genome have been totally completed if that's the case? That's too much DNA to be missing.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's the most.
So I always look, just like when I have a chat with GPT. I argue with that sometimes when I'm just.
Me too.
When I just want to just see what the hell am I tripping? Me and Chat GPT will go out to show you one of those discussions.
But the thing about it is that like that they don't know what that ghost archaic is. That could just be an early Homo sapien, right? They don't know if it's an early Homo sapien. They don't know if it's a.
I'm telling you, that's the way they backdoor it. They trying to backdoor us in the.
Yeah, they're trying to backdoor.
I already peeped the cam. As soon as I started paying attention, I said, "Oh, that's their way of getting in the back door." We ain't gonna let them know. That's why they need us. They don't even understand they need what they term blackologists. Because if we and you or somebody like this ain't checking and gozy, they'll be hook, line, and sinker by now.
I'm just still honestly like, okay, so Chief X to me is not serious. Like he doesn't seem like his content, it just seems like a joke. Like the way I think I saw him on Chris MVP one time, and like he was sticking to like Berlin conference borders. And I'm like, this is not a serious conversation.
Right.
But in Ngozi, sometimes like I think that he's serious, that he believes it. Like he legitimately believes that, okay, that we're different. North African, East African, we're different. Because I hear him say sometimes that, we're African, we're all African. And then Ngozi, if you're listening, feel free to hit the link. I hear him say that, but then sometimes I'm like, why are you trying to like when you trying to like,
separate East and West when we know that the whole Southern Sahel is nothing but a damn zone, an equatorial zone that's conducive for travel across that zone. So what's hindering them from going back and forth across the southern part? Now, I understand saying they going across the Sahara, that, and then we know that they do that too. They figured out a way to do that. But we know that they had migrational patterns going across that southern Sahel for millennia. So I'm not trying to hear what he's talking about. But how the hell does E1B1A and E1B1B split?
Yeah, it's split in Northeast Africa. That's the thing about it. Like,
what are you talking about?
But even when you try to bring, like, because when I listen to what they say, and they say that the ancients are the modern, you're right, the ancient North African is the modern North African. But then when you look at a lot of these North Africans, they're connected to West Asia. So then it's like, are you trying to say that like these West Asians are like some Afro-Asiatic and like they're part of Africa, like the Arabians are part of Africa?
No, because when I busted them, Cam, check it out. I'm telling you, that introgression was a deadly piece for them. Because see, I don't give a damn what's going on, right? Yeah. If they crossed across from the bottom of from Yemen and Somalia, or if they cross through the Levant, if it's no introgression, it don't matter. They just mutating just like any other African mutated on the continent. Because that equatorial zone is not enough to make them mutate and turn white. They still in the damn desert. You see what I'm saying? What would make them change from being Africans right there just on the other side of the Red Sea? It's still the same desert. It's exactly hot. Exactly. Do you think we done?
And even
what would make you turn white right there, Cam?
Even though the when you see the K, the H, all these Eurasian markers, those are not like, those are ancient back migration, but that doesn't change the Africanity, as you've been saying. Like the bulk of these populations are still Africans. There's no evidence of a major Neolithic mass migration into Northeast Africa. So like it's confusing because when I listen to Chief X, he's trying to say that they're Caucasian, they're Mediterranean Caucasian, and even white scholars, they don't even agree with that.
Most people say who's Mediterranean Caucasian? What is he saying?
The ancient Kemetic population.
Oh, no. Now the modern ones, yes.
The modern one, yeah, it is. It is. The ancient.
See, that's why we got to get them on the DNA side. The gateway into there, the oldest DNA they got right there on that gateway coming in from the Levant is Malta. Period.
Yeah.
So that's a checkmate until they find something else. Well, and they wish they can. Until they find something else to change the data, we rolling with Malta. And Malta has no introgression at 4500 BCE, right there on the Levant. So, and see, Ngozi will argue that that's too far down.
Nah.
It's in Ethiopia.
It's because it's like, we know the Arabs invaded. Like, I don't know why. Even that part is like,
pull up that paper where we can read that right quick.
Yeah, like the invasion, like they found the Orientalization, and they have the dates, the admixture dates right here of when it happened, and you see the BC CE, like the earliest date is 155. That's Cleopatra. That's late period. So you literally see all these different introgressions, these admixtures of these populations. So like all this blue, that's Arab, that's the West Asian. This literally, you can literally see the Arabization happening from the early period to the late period. So it's like, to deny that the Arabs had a big role.
How far back does this chart right here go?
That chart is 155 BC.
Oh, okay.
And see, if you look at the
admixture, and it starts to show introgression coming in.
Yeah, like after that, like if you look at up here at the top, like you can literally see it like happening like 6th, 7th, 8th century right there, and it gets to the 11th century right here. So like literally the bulk of it is like the 1200s, right? So these are literally associated with these Islamic migrations from West Asia. So to me, this paper right here, I mean, it's a nail in the coffin. Like you can't say that these people, like you can't say, like by Dr. Arauna, you can't say that these people are not, they don't have Eurasian. Even you look at this, oh, it keeps going down. You look at this chart right here. Damn, why does it keep going down? Just kind of scroll up. You see these Berbers, these North Africans, the Egyptian, and you literally look at this. You see this J marker,
right?
You see that J, and there's some predominantly Syria, Eurasia, Libya, modern Libyan, predominantly Eurasia, Tunisia, these Tunisia Berbers, Eurasian. The only time you start to get towards is the Tim Berber. Look at this. The Tim Berber is majority North African and so-called Yoruba. That gray is Yoruba. These are the Berber population with M, that M1 haplogroup.
At what time frame?
This is modern. These are modern populations.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at, we're gonna play a game here, right? You go Algeria Tim. Where's that Tim Berber at? I'm gonna show you what these people look like. Oh, damn, I'm trying to find it.
I definitely need that paper. I need to go over that right there. But hold on, I want to show you a quick doozy as well after you get done.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this
there it is, right?
Yeah, the region that they come from. It's
Wait a minute, slow down on that chart because I zoomed in now.
Oh, you zoomed in right here?
Yeah, I done zoomed in. Hold on, what is it? Damn, what happened?
Oh, it's there.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good map because okay, now in Libya, what is that showing? Now why is it showing each one of them have two charts? Why is that?
One of them is a admixture and the other one is a haplotype.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I'd have to read the whole paper so I could read it. Because that description down there at the bottom, it'll tell you how to read the chart.
Yeah, it's gonna tell me. I'm just trying to find this population real quick. Like it says it right here. Algeria, Timimun. All right, let's look at what these people look like. Timimun, Algeria. Again, they have more North African ancestry. Look at these people. Damn. Damn. This is the Timimun Algerian Berber.
Yeah, the one that got more admixture covered all the way up.
Yeah,
they damn near can't even keep their face. They try to act like it's because of some damn sand.
These are so-called. It's a white dude next to the Timimun. You see what they look like. So again, when Chief X was talking that trash and he's talking about, there's no such thing as a black North African. It doesn't exist. When I'm looking at this, I'm looking at these Timimun people and I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm looking at this like, what?
The struggle of the Berber people, which we know they're going to be subjugated based on their amount of African ancestry. But they saying that the race is a social construct when we get subjugated.
Yeah,
all over the planet. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to.
These Southern Algerians. That's why you know that they're playing games. So it's like you look at these Berbers, these Timimun, and then you look at all that, the ancestry that they have. Let me scroll down a little bit. Look at this chart even. So you look at them. This is those Algerian Berbers. These are Yoruba people right there. Right there. Mm-hmm. These are modern Egyptian. This Syrian, Qatar right there.
Right.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, we know they're not Africans in this modern time. I mean, but for people to try to play that game, let me share something with you, Cam.
Yeah.
So we can. I don't know how long you gonna be watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on for a little bit more. I'm about to hop off. I'm gonna stop sharing screen.
Yeah, let me see if I could share some. Watch this. Now, see, this is what's out of control, right, Cam? Now, Ngozi said that he shared this link with not Chief X, but Sheffrin, right? I don't know if you know them. Now, this paper is 2015. It says tracing the root of the modern humans out of Africa by using 225 human genome sequence from Ethiopians and Egyptians, right?
Wait, let me add it. There it is. Yeah, keep going. I wanted to add it to it.
So this is what the paper is about. They're trying to find out, we're tracing the root of modern humans out of Africa by using 225 human genome sequence from Ethiopians and Egyptians. So they went and got 225 complete genomes, autosomal DNA, to try to find out which route that they took. Now, see, the abstract to this is they're going to tell us about. It says predominantly African. The predominantly African origin of all modern human populations is well established, but the route taken out of Africa is still unclear. Two alternative routes via Egypt and the Sinai are across the Bab el Mandeb Strait, which we know that's in Yemen and Somalia, right? Yep. It says into Arabia. It says have additionally traditionally been proposed as feasible gateways in light of geography, paleoclimatic, and archaeology and genetic evidence. It says distinguishing among these alternatives has been difficult. Say we generated 225 whole genome sequences, and I'm not going to go through the parentheses of this, from 6 modern Northeast African populations, and we and West Eurasian components were masked out. It says, and the remaining African haplotypes were compared with a panel of sub-Saharan Africans and non-African genomes. Now, when they talk about they took out the West Eurasian components, what do you think about that?
I'm thinking that they took that out basically to see the origin of these northeastern African populations with respect to other Africans.
Okay. And that's what I come to. I just wanted to make sure we was on point. It says we show that masking Northeast African haplotypes overall were more similar to non-African haplotypes and more frequently represent outside Africa than any sets of haplotypes derived from a West African population. Furthermore, masking Egyptian haplotypes show these made more markedly than the masking Ethiopian haplotype, pointing the Egyptians as the more likely gateway. So they said pointing Egypt as the more likely gateway in the exodus to the rest of the world. So they're saying that out of doing all of this, they said that the Levantian exit was the more likely route. It says using 5 Ethiopians and 3 Egyptian high coverage masking genomes and the multiple sequencing of whatever that Markovian calculus. It said that's the machine that they use.
Markovian.
Yeah, Markovian calculus. What is that? Calcium?
Coalescent.
Coalescent approach. Yeah. And so is that just what are they talking about? The method that they use, right?
Yeah, so that's what that looks like.
It says we estimate the genomic split times of Egyptians and Ethiopians from non-Africans populations at 55 to 65,000 years ago, respectively, whereas the West African was estimated to be 75,000 years ago. Both the haplotypes of the MSMC analysis thus suggest that the predominant northern route out of Africa via Egypt. So that's just the abstract of it. But let me just go down to the admixture. So using admixture and principal component analysis, it says figure the PCA, that's what that stands for. Then here's the figure. But it says we estimate the average proportion of the non-African ancestry of the Egyptians to be 80% and dated to the midpoint of the admixture event by the using Adler. But it says, hold up, this thing keeps popping up to around 750 years ago. So they're saying that these people, from what I'm reading right here, I want to just get your take on it. From just stopping right here to 750 years ago. From what I read, just this little part right here, they're saying that the modern Egyptians were 80% non-African at a date of about 750 years ago. Now, am I tripping?
Yeah, basically 750 years ago is the midpoint of a process where non-Africans were entering into the continent.
And it said this is consistent with the Islamic expansion and dates reported previously. So what's going on?
I need to get some sound effects. That's a bomb.
It's watch this and this. So they're going to show the introgression. They said the Ethiopian population shows, as expected, a more variable spectrum of genetic introgression. It says consistent with the previous reports. How do you say this right here?
Amara
and the Oromo were shown to have around 50%. So the further away you get, just like what you were saying, the further away you get from that border, the less ancient North African DNA they're going to have, and the less African DNA they're going to have. So watch this. So now watch this. It says of their genome derived from non-Africans. The introgression proportion in the Somalians and the what? How you say that?
Wolata. I think that's a Cushitic group.
It said the Somalia and the Wolata amounted to 40 to 30%. So as you get further down, it gets less and less. And then they said the Gumas showed negligible amounts of non-African admixture. So they just saying they just got a little bit. And it says the date of this midpoint of these admixture events was around 2,500 to 3,000 years ago. So that's when the Egyptians started saying they came in based on text. See what I'm saying? Don't that add up?
Yeah.
Although one notable exception was the Amora, or however you pronounce that, who have shown evidence of multiple admixture events. These conclusions are consistent with previous reports and fit with the linguistic record. So when they started speaking Arab, that's when they came their asses in at 750 years ago. They brought their language with them. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's clear as day. When was this published? Is this you?
Hold on, watch this. So you might think this is 2000. I mean, this is 1960. But this is 2015.
Wow.
Hold on, you want to go? I'm gonna let you read the conclusion. Watch this. You gonna love this.
Pagani, that's a dagger right there. That's a dagger.
Let me let you read. Go ahead, read the conclusion, Cam. I'll let you do the honors.
In conclusion, the analysis of Ethiopian and Egyptian whole genome sequence data identifies modern Egyptians as the African population whose genome and haplotype frequency most closely resemble those of non-African populations. So they're saying,
I be laughing, I be reading this, Cam. This be crazy. Go ahead.
So they're saying the Egyptian is the least African on the entire continent. That's what they're saying right there.
Exactly. Same thing you said, just a different way.
It's a different way, a different study, completely different methodology.
You were talking about ancient DNA. I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, so it's so the fact that we could identify an Egyptian, an African genomic component that is distinct from West and East African components, further supports a minor degree of population continuity in Egypt since the out of Africa dispersal. So what they're saying is that ancient is modern. That's from the out of Africa dispersal. That's an ancient vestige 70,000 years ago. Possibly, I believe they're possibly talking about sex chromosome, the EM78. There's an EM78 drop of black blood in modern Egyptians.
Correct.
But the rest of it is non-African. That's what they're saying, basically.
I'm telling you.
These findings,
finish it out for me.
Yeah. These findings point to the northern route as the preferential direction taken out of Africa. In doing this, they resolve the puzzles of archaeological similarities in Neanderthal admixture, which are readily accommodated by a northern exit model, but not by a southern exit, and fit well with the recent discovery of human remains dating to around 55,000 years ago in Israel, close to the northern root. Furthermore, the data generated here provide a better source of information for spatially explicit demographic models. Our analysis does not address controversies about the timing and possible complexities of the expansion out of Africa, and highlights the need for further analyses, ideally including ancient DNA as well as Near Eastern and Papuan or Australian genomes representative of an early coastal expansion to further resolve these issues.
So what they're saying is they need more ancient DNA.
Yep.
And to make a better analysis. But right now what they got is Mota, and it ain't looking good at 4,500.
But that quote right there,
uh-huh.
Because again, for all the brother Ngozi, bro Chief X, and I'm calling them brother euphemistically, affectionately, right? I'm gonna call them brother affectionately. When they say that North Africans and East Africans and West Africans are different, according to that study by Pagani, it tells us, oh yeah, the modern Egyptian, they have an ancient North African drop, but it's a drop. It's not the majority of their genome. It's a drop.
Yes. And so, at this point, like I said, I'm going to put a presentation together with that type of information, that DO information, so we can, because that's the exact mutation that we need to show that E was not, a DE wasn't a back migration situation, because that's what they're using to say that these people are Eurasian. So we're not really trying to hear this at this point. I said, I think I got all the ducks in a row, so it's just really just me just taking the time and putting it together, because I wanted to kind of start it off with Savante Pavo's work and then work, because he's always mentioned every time I turn around too.
Yeah, he is. He's really popular. But to me, I mean, the argument is over. Like, even in Kemet, like when Sonoran said that the ancient Egyptians would have used Kemet to refer to black people. It's like,
that was the linguistic dagger. Like I said, we need to just finish them off genetically.
Low key, I've been doing a lot of work with the material culture side, like in the background, because that's really where I shine in terms of my research and analysis. And I got so many daggers, but I'm waiting to drop them, because right now we're kind of like everybody's in the linguistics and the genetics, and we haven't really moved, forward to the material culture. But like when we get to that point, man, I'm definitely ready.
The way I envision this, Cam, when I put this presentation together, it's gonna be over. I'm telling you, when I it's gonna be so beautiful. You might have a tear in your eye at the end.
Nah, you've been killing them. I mean, even when I haven't been able to come on live that frequently, but I see you on Smash's show and I see you on other shows, like putting in the work.
I just have to defer, because Smash them and a lot of others deal with the linguistic side. So that's when I seen you come on. This is more kind of like what I'm dealing with at the time, and which I love the linguistic argument as well, and I follow it. But that's not what my calling, so to speak, is right now in the fight. I let people do, like, they might be better at doing something in the army, and me and you might be better at doing something in the army. But either which way it go, we're gonna wind up meeting on the battlefield on the same side. And I think our genetic side is kind of like necessary for what, the misinformation that some people have been putting out here.
Yeah, it's crazy, because like I told you this the last time, is like I used to be like really deep into genetics, like when I was in middle school, but then I stopped because like I saw how flawed it was, and I saw how flawed the methodologies are. And really, like PCA, if you had an ancestral regression graph and you put all the African populations on the ancestral regression graph, you will be able to see when these West African and Central African groups left the Nile Valley. Like, you will be able to see it historically, because we already know that happened about like 4,000 years ago. So we'll be able to resolve a lot of these issues. But the problem is that most of us don't know like the right accurate methodologies to use. So we're kind of stuck in like the 1960s and 1970s talking about Kim doesn't mean black. right? So like the moment that we begin to step forward and begin to do these types of analyses and show our expertise in these different levels, we'll be able to expand the game. Because genetics, that's step one to me. Like in the anthropological conversation, genetics is the easy accessible, but like killing them off that, it's like you can't, like if you can't even get that argument down, you get into the linguistics, archaeology, the cultural analysis.
All of it's necessary.
All of it, and it's like I've never seen a modern Eurasian population show their culture with dynastic Kemet. I've never seen them juxtapose the two, right? I've never seen it. But you see West Africans, East Africans, and even Southern Africans showing, whoa, man, look at that amenity.
You can see it right now. I can look in the Zulu tribe right now, and when they wear their traditional dress, they look like they was in Kemet.
Facts.
They have feathers in the front of their head. They wearing leopard skin print. The king is wearing leopard print, and the same thing is going on. And they got a mace head and all kinds. I'm like, what's going on? So this is really going on right now in real time when they get back into their traditional wear. You know what I'm saying? They're culturally connected to the same people on down that. And the pastoralism in that one paper that I show you would only make sense. Like, because they're down, man, I got a video of them talking about they didn't get the Abel symbol to the 1800s. That's ain't that crazy? Yeah. A European had never laid eyes on the interior of the Nile. They hadn't gotten to Abu Simbel. He was the first, he was documented as the first European to get that far down the Nile. I said, that is crazy. That's in the 1800s, Cam.
Yeah, that's deep. That's
so
deep.
These people ain't been, they ain't even been, we know that, what they did, Leopold did that. What was that in the 1800s?
Yeah,
they haven't been on the continent of Africa in that long. No. Not even a real good 100 years yet.
No.
In the interior, man, maybe on these fringe around these coasts, yeah, but not the interior. They have not even seen or discovered as much as what we think they may have. I mean, some of the people that like the chief X's of the world. Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing about it, like even having this content, because I have an account on the BB2Me, and I would much rather us have the truth on our platforms, so we can't necessarily be silenced.
Right.
Because the moment that we start giving too much truth, they're going to try to shut it down. So that's why I started the Patreon and everything.
Right. Well, hold on. My bad if I went too far.
No, you didn't go too far. You know what
I'm saying? Because, I don't want nothing, to come back. But, I just look at it as information. Like I said, I always refer back to Dr. Clark when he said that you find your information in European information. So that does not stop no matter what time it is. You have to look at them because they have collected a lot of this data, and we don't have a choice but to look at it. But we can look at it from an African mindset. That's what Diop did. That's what Theophilo Banga did. Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, and all of our great scholars and ancestors that were the forefronts of history, being historians. Because, like, to throw them away and to start listening to a Chief X or a Sheffrin or Unc would really be wild. You know what I'm saying? We're going to throw away Diop and Obenga for Unc now.
Nah, and the elder Obenga is still around. I mean, he gave information at the conference, so he's actually still fighting the good fight.
Yeah, he ain't changed up. They talking about they done found some more information to make them change. And then when you ask them to show it to you, they don't got it. What made you change from the lecture that you gave us 5 years ago saying West Africa and Egypt was connected genetically?
Yeah, well, we got them on the EL 516s, right? And the 15s.
They too far down the line. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm gonna go ahead and let you close out and do what you do.
Sure.
I just wanted to come on and show my support. I got love for you, Cam. Do keep doing your thing. And and next time you come on, man, you might need to hit me on the text or something and let me know something.
I'm gonna definitely do it, because I keep telling myself that I'm gonna plan it, but sometimes like I get really busy, or I'll just like feel it and I'll just go on.
Right, yeah, but just let me know because I know it's hard talking to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
All right, so peace to everybody in the chat.
Peace out. It's all love. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody who stopped by and listened in. We were just going over some of my community tab posts and just some of the different things that we've been discussing. And I hope that you enjoyed everything that we had to relay. Shout out to my bro Cujo. Shout out to the Zoes. Shout out to Strife 77, Doravel. Everybody who was in the building, Sarah. We appreciate all the love and support. And as I stated earlier, Cash App is open. Membership is open if you want to be a member. Patreon is also open. I'm going to post a link of that into the description if you would love to support. It makes my job a lot easier, because this is definitely a difficult job. It's not the easiest job, but, it's all about the truth of the future generations. Peace and love to Narmer X. Peace and love to everybody else in the building. I'm about to get my brand. And I'm going to close out.
Louisa.